everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining us again for another video. We're finally past all the horror and Halloween type stuff. I posted a couple already in November just because I shot them. I didn't have time to post them, so bled over a little bit into November. Glad we can finally get back into X-Men universe. We paused a little bit to go into horror and Halloween, so I really am excited to finish off Origins, Wolverine, and Logan. Finish off the unofficial Wolverine trilogy. Jeremy cannot be with us today, unfortunately, but luckily, Jen is here today, so I'm so glad to have her here.
Hello.
Going into it, Jen has only seen the first X-Men. We haven't even watched the full trilogy, but I figure this is a prequel, so it wouldn't hurt to do that. When this movie came out, it was not widely acclaimed. We'll get into that a little bit after in the post-discussion. Pastor, going into it, probably as the biggest X-Men / Wolverine fan among us, how are you feeling going into Origins?
Not to give anything away, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. This movie has a lot going on. There are things about it I still like. There's actually a part in this movie that, which I'll cover later, that is probably my favorite Wolverine scene. Definitely top 5 Wolverine scenes. But yeah, I'm not gonna give away too much. I am a huge Wolverine fan, so I don't wanna spoil anything. So we'll just get into it, I think.
Jenna, going into it, as a big fan of Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, how are you feeling going into X-Men Origins?
There's no more Halloween movies to watch.
No.
I'm hoping I'll like this more because there's more Hugh Jackman.
Jen, after only watching the first X-Men, going to a prequel and seeing the origin of the Wolverine, how are you feeling going into it?
The fact that I know a little bit, I wouldn't say the backstory, but a little bit about what the movie is about. I only saw the first one, but I really liked the first one. I liked the characters, so I think it's gonna be good. As always, going into it with an open mind, don't have any preconceived theories on how it's gonna be, so I think it'll be good, but we'll see.
And lastly, Mateo. Matt, what about you? How do you feel going into Origins?
In preparation to getting back to Logan, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, Jenna and I actually did a reaction video to Hugh Jackman, his multiple physical transformations, which I'm very excited about. I think we did a great job on that video. Enough plugging, but my point in saying all that is that I have a real respect, but almost bias to Hugh Jackman just out of respect for what he's done in his physical condition. I'm actually really excited to see this. I think it could be a total crap movie, but just seeing him, because he looks fantastic, I'm gonna like it.
There's a lot I want to talk about with this movie, how I feel about it and how it was received by fans. So I'm really excited to our post-discussion. Let's go ahead and get into it. X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
Brothers protect each other. We stick together no matter what.
I think this is one of the best sequences.
Wow, that's cool.
I love how they always intermingle these X-Men stories into like real life.
How would you like to really serve your country? You love her after one night. She's a gymnast. Talk for her, please.
Is he an electrician?
No, he's basically like...
We didn't sign up for this.
Thriller, right?
Coming back to bed, babe?
I'm ready for more.
Jesus Christ. Kids are in bed. Our life is perfect. Nothing could ever go wrong.
We're gonna need milk in a month, though.
Looks like we're gonna need new sheets again, baby.
Hey guys, take it easy.
Oh man, it sucks she's gotta die. Yeah, boy. If she dies, he has nothing to lose.
There's something about the CG in this movie that doesn't look very good.
I can give you the tools to defeat him. You remember what we were looking for in Africa? Well, I found it.
Vibranium.
Close.
He found the metal he was looking for.
Vibranium?
Adamantium. I want new ones.
What do you want him to say?
Wolverine.
You! Jesus Christ.
I can't believe this made it to the final cut. They look so bad.
I really think somebody on Fiverr could do a better job.
Oh yeah.
Well, it gets worse.
Really?
Decent.
What?
Nothing. I'm just not really used to that word.
You're weird as hell, you know that?
Nice job. This was my son's jacket.
Try it on. All right. I'm gonna take my bike for a spin.
A really generous guy.
You want my wife too?
I thought you said.
Oh.
Nah, man.
I totally forgot about that. Aren't you Will.i.am?
Where's Fergie?
Beside me.
We're all just kind of landing flat today.
There's no redemption where I'm going. I ain't asking.
There's so many one-liners in this movie.
I know.
I needed your powers for the pool.
For the what?
Deadpool.
Oh!
Cuckoo Ka-choo! Where are you going? I thought you were gonna kill everyone.
His heart's too broken. Michael Bay wasn't a part of this, right?
Nope. No. Okay.
Please, I'm so sorry. They have my sister.
Is this Vin Diesel?
Oh man.
Wait, is that you?
They had families, all of them.
Adamantium bullets. Brain may heal, but his memories won't grow back.
We're brothers, and brothers look out for each other.
She dead again?
This is like a soap opera now, I feel like.
Yeah. What kind of budget was this?
Big budget, man.
Nice.
No shadows. No shadows, guys.
Where the hell am I? What's my name? Your name is Logan.
Who's that bitch? He probably peed and pooping in his pants.
Striker smell like shit, huh?
Oh. The guy that lost his head lived?
All right, everyone, just finished watching X-Men Origins Wolverine. For me, the biggest issue I had was just the VFX were just, they kept taking me out of it. It felt like it was like a really low budget movie. Of all of the X-Men movies I think that we've seen and will see, I think this is absolutely the worst visually. It had those Michael Bay just absurd moments of, you know, him flying up to the helicopter exploding. And at that point, you're just like, this is just what it is, might as well enjoy it. And I did for that reason. We could talk about Deadpool and the way that they did that whole character, and I know a lot of people have issues with that. I do too. I wasn't crazy about that. Pastor, what did you think about it?
This movie makes me want to hide this right here. Just nope. It's rough, dude. When it came out, I was super excited. I remember this being one of the trailers, the first trailer in any franchise that had me like super amped for it. The scenes were in the movie, which I thought were cool too. You know, I was watching so many like all the hype for this movie when it was announced, and I was like, oh my God. Then I found out that banking on this movie, they were gonna make an X-Men Origins Magneto, but because this movie was just so panned by everyone, the Magneto project was just scrapped. So we got the First Class, I guess would be the closest thing to a Magneto Origins movie. But with that being said, Wolverine was the poster boy. He is the poster boy for the, you know, Singer movies and the Fox X-Men movies. This movie was bad. Like Holden said, the CG was terrible. Not to toot our own horns or anything. I think we could do better than that now. Granted, it's been like 15 years or something like that since this came out. It's rough. The acting was okay for the most of it. Like the physicality and all that was fine. The casting was great. Will.i.am kind of grew on me a little bit, but at first I was just like, you know, why is he in this? Wolverine looked great. Matt's gonna touch on that, I'm sure. The physique was awesome. I'm trying to remember other scenes I had. The ending was terrible. Deadpool, I mean, it was the worst. Everyone knows that. You know, you guys know that. As far as the Wolverine movies go, I think this is the weakest one for sure. And I could talk a lot about this movie in a bad way, so I'm not gonna do that.
I do want to say there was a lot of really good stuff too. The opening sequence, which we talked about, was really awesome to see them going through like the wars. I thought that was really, really well done, going through like the transitions through like an opening title sequence. Near the end, I commented how it felt kind of more soap opera-y, the girl coming back and then he's walking away with her and he gets shot and then everyone's just sort of showing up at the end. Gambit was attempting to be fan service. I don't know if it hit or not because I wasn't crazy about him. I was never a huge Gambit fan, but I know that he is a fan favorite character. That felt a little flat for me. Jen, this being the second X-Men movie you've technically watched now, what did you think about Origins?
I mean, I thought it was decent. I don't really care about the CGI or the special effects. That's not kind of a leading reason for me to dislike or like the movie. I liked it for two reasons. It was not predictable with the whole, his girlfriend coming back, did not see that coming.
Jen. You got a long ways to go, girl.
To me, it wasn't predictable. And I also liked it because I got to see the backstory for Wolverine. Seeing only the first one, I don't have a lot to compare it to as far as like if it's better than the other ones. Obviously, I like the first one better, but I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was that bad, but I also didn't know a lot of the characters. You guys are mentioning like Deadpool. I don't know who Deadpool is.
We'll have to watch that one for sure.
But I thought it was pretty decent. I really, really liked the intro. I agree with everybody on that. I really, really liked that. That was very unique. And I liked the story between Logan and Victor. I really liked that. The large guy, apparently his name is Blob. I don't know what his character's about. That was very comedic to me. But other than that, I thought it was decent.
Jenna, as someone who has seen all the other X-Men movies when we've gone through the series, how did you like this one and how do you compare it to the others?
I really have come to enjoy how all the X-Men movies seem to intertwine real history with their backstory. It makes it a little bit more relatable or believable rather than just having it like just some random story that you have to understand. Like it makes it a little bit more understandable using real history. I really liked the intro and how all the transitions. That was really good. I am a little disappointed that this one also didn't touch on any like social issues like the first trilogy really seem to do so well. I think these newer ones really don't touch on some of those hot button topics like the first trilogy did. Was Ryan Reynolds supposed to be Deadpool? Yeah. They just couldn't call him Deadpool or?
So the whole Deadpool thing was they knew that they wanted to introduce the character into the franchise. He was definitely growing during that time because Deadpool's a relatively newer comic book character. He doesn't have like the tenure that the rest of the X-Men have. So the fact that they knew that they wanted Ryan Reynolds to play him, I don't know why they executed it the way they did. That is the biggest problem with this movie, but they always knew that that was the person they wanted to play Deadpool because of his humor and he looks, the part. He's like, the right physique, obviously, but he has that witty acting that requires for Deadpool to transition on the screen. And they wanted it to be in a Wolverine movie because they always butt heads. Like the elevator scene happens a ton of times in the comic books.
Okay, I was confused. He wasn't being called Deadpool, and I haven't watched the Deadpool movies, but I thought his real name in the Deadpool movies was Wade. Mm-hmm. So I was a little confused by that. Or if it was one of those where like he was supposed to be implied to be a character, but they didn't actually name or own the rights to the name or something like that.
They said Deadpool in the movie. They're like pooling all the powers. He's like, we need your powers for the pool, the Deadpool. But they didn't actually call the character that, but they did say the name.
I do like finally knowing why he lost his memory. It wasn't a great story of how he lost his memory. It was with the bullet that seemed kind of cliche with, the silver or the adamantium bullet in the Wolverine seemed kind of like that story's been told 1,000 times. At least we know the story of why he lost his memory.
I think in all the other movies, they had said he lost his memory during that surgery. I think in every like iteration or flashback. But in this one, they needed him to remember so that the end would make sense with the wife and everything. And so I think that was just kind of like a cop-out. Like, why at that point do we just need him to forget? But I think that they had to, and they're just like, well, let's just shoot him with the bullets, and that's probably the best way to do it. So I agree that they wrote themselves into a corner, I feel like, and they just had to do it. Anyway, but so Matt, you love these movies, you're talking about it all the time, you're so grateful we introduced you to them. So what did you think about X-Men Origins Wolverine?
I actually did not hate this, but there was a lot of points about this movie that were just, woof. The intro was rad, like everyone said. Love how it showed the time and how things...
Nice earrings, by the way.
Oh, thank you much. Like how it showed how the time was changing. They went through every war, hardened, battled men. I could see Deadpool's comedy coming from a mile away. I saw the first Deadpool, didn't really like it. I like Ryan Reynolds as an actor. Physically, he looked fantastic in this, but for some reason, his humor in these superhero movies just does not translate. Like, I thought he did a great job in Waiting and all those other movies. I loved it. I love his style, but I just don't appreciate it in these films.
We'll probably give Deadpool another try with Jenna being the friend. Jen and I will probably watch it for my girlfriend if we don't all watch it together. So, because I think maybe now with the context of the other X-Men movies, you might appreciate it more.
Maybe,
I don't know,
maybe so. I really disliked how they served the justice to old mom and pops. She's coming out with the orange juice and toast, and then, like, okay, they get shot, but I felt like it was such a disservice, and it wasn't that satisfying kill, like that revenge. It was just he lights it on fire and then walks away like a badass. It was just...
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought them up, because I think that from a storytelling perspective, that was probably the strongest moment.
Yeah.
See, finally he has some like compassion and decency, and he's like, decent, that's not a word I'm used to. But I thought that was actually one of the stronger moments in the movie, and then to have them die and gives Wolverine that feeling of like, this is why I can't have nice things, this is why I can't have like a family and friends, because they always get hurt. The ones I love suffer the most. Yeah, okay.
I honestly was waiting. I wanted to hear the story of the son, because I saw that, I don't know, I feel like they didn't spend enough time, which I know they didn't need to spend a whole lot of time, but you're right, they could have highlighted that moment so much more to sort of dive into the jacket that we've seen for so long, and then, like, I don't know, I feel like they could have used that a little more. I wanted to know what happened to the son. It could be irrelevant, but I don't know. I know the jacket's a big deal. There really wasn't any bygone Jim moments. In the barn with Pops, he was like, we all got a choice to make. That was the closest one. I wish they would have gone a little bit deeper into that, because you could see that pessimistic Wolverine saying like, it was all taken from me.
Yeah, and nothing matters.
Nothing matters, like that pessimistic, and then Pops was like, no, you always got a choice. Like, there's something there, but it didn't deliver. So I can't call it a bygone Jim moment, unfortunately. It was very interesting to see both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They both looked fantastic, but I saw so many inconsistencies throughout the movie of their physique. Lighting is gonna do that. I mean, obviously this was shot over a long period of time, but I felt like there were times where they could have done a little bit better job showing off their physique. I mean, I don't think that was the fault of the actual actors and the work they did, but I don't know, it was weird. At times, they looked absolutely jacked. Ryan Reynolds looked huge. I mean, he looked gigantic in that scene where the doors open and they face off. And then a few other shots, he looked very small. So it was just very weird to see inconsistencies so drastic. I know nobody gives a damn about that, but it was very interesting to me. You're right, I feel like this one was kind of all over the place at times, but for some reason it was still fun. Maybe because we're done watching horror movies and this is the first step back into not Halloween, but...
I will say, I think that this is a fun movie if you can let go of everything. Yeah. The problem is that the X-Men movies, it's such a beloved franchise, and to see it kind of get messed with continuity and with, I don't know, in some ways not taking itself seriously enough in certain aspects. Trying to give fan service, trying to show all these characters. That scene where they're like in the little prison room and you're seeing, is that Quicksilver? Is that, you know, what's his face? Trying to appease everyone. People wanted Gambit for the longest time, and so they just kind of put him in there and kind of half-heartedly. And
it felt, yeah, just like there was a bunch of people that were there that didn't necessarily have to be there. Like Will.i.am, great job. I just don't know why. I know you were popping in 09, but I just don't know why he was in that movie. It didn't really seem like he had to be there.
Yeah, I liked the relationship between Wolverine and his brother. I liked that Sabretooth was more kind of unhinged, and Wolverine, while he does have these moments of being unhinged and ruthless, still is like, I don't want to just to kill. You know, you have to give me a reason. Sometimes the reason is selfish, like revenge or whatever, but he doesn't just kill to kill, and that you can't say the same thing for Sabretooth. I think this is a fun movie. You can let go of some of the other stuff. For me, this is like a 5.5. Pretty low for me. What about you, Pastor?
Yeah, everyone talked about the opening credits. That was my favorite Wolverine scene in anything I've seen so far until Logan came out, but I'm not gonna get into that. When I saw that, I thought this movie was gonna be a 10. Like I said, this movie had a lot of problems with it. A lot of, as far as like going in it as a fan, I know a lot of people here are not, you know, they didn't go into it because they're huge Wolverine fans. But with all that being said, the movie was still watchable, except for the end. If it wasn't for the end, I'd give this movie like a 7, but I can't do that. The ending is just horrible. I would probably give it right at a 5, a complete wash.
Jen, you said you enjoyed it. I don't want our ratings to sway you. What did you think? What would you rate it?
I would say 6.5. I like it mainly because of the information that I gained from it, not really knowing a lot about X-Men except for that first movie. So I think that that's the main reason why I didn't think it was a horrible film. There was definitely points where I was just kind of like, ooh, not likely. I thought it was decent, and I like knowing more information about Wolverine.
The one thing I remember watching this in 2009, forever ago, what is that, 11 years ago now? The theater lights didn't cut off, like the opening sequence with him, so I actually ran down my little teenage self and was like, can y'all turn off the lights in the theater? Because they're still on. So that's what I remember about this. Jenna, what about you? What would you rate this?
There were a lot of cringy one-liners.
Oh, I love them.
And the scene where all the mutants were getting into the helicopter, it looked like a cheap video game to me. Like, that was horrible. But it was a good movie. Like, I could feel y'all holding back with how you really didn't like this movie before we watched it. I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll give it a 6.
And lastly, Matt, what would you rate this movie?
No, it was pretty bad, but for some reason it was watchable. Yeah, I think that you definitely have to be in the mindset of being like, I think you have to definitely be in the mindset of like, all right, like CGI is garbage, and y'all, like, this reminded me of such a classic 90s movie of it's just been revoked, like very much those one-liners, like you said, Jenna, but it does feel a little silly. The budget was $150 million. That
And they can't get shadows on CGI people.
This is what happens. I mean, anyway, who am I? What do I know? I do vlogs for a living on this channel, so whatever. Yeah, but for some reason, I go into this still positive. I'd give this like a solid 6.
So it's better than Evil Dead 2, is what you're telling me?
Let's not do this.
All right, guys, so we just wrapped up shooting our Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Jason Voorhees follow-up. Just finished filming that, so I will be working on that for the next 2 weeks or so. So content might be a little less on the channel these next week and a half or so. If you would like to see some behind the scenes or get up to date on what's going on with that, I'll be updating my Patreon. So if you'd like to see some of that and get early access to select videos like this one, make sure to check me out on Patreon. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below letting us know what you think of X-Men Origins. Subscribe if you want to see more fun content like this. I always appreciate that. Make sure to check out everyone's channel here. Make sure to check out Jen and I on My Girlfriend Watches, where we just finished Halloween stuff, and we're gonna get back into Star Wars here shortly. As always, we appreciate you watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care.